What is going on? What is popping? YouTube world, my name is Ghiman Mckinney, or you can just call me Juice because that is my nickname. I appreciate you guys for watching today. Be sure to smash this like button right about now, as it does help these videos get out to the public and the channel to grow overall. Subscribe to my channel if you're new as well. I do post a ton of great sports videos weekly, and almost every single day if I can, and turn on post notifications too, so you don't miss a single one of those videos that I post. It's only right, you guys. Okay, I want to talk about the Green Bay Packers today. Now, the reason why I'm going to talk about them is because I feel like some people are split in the middle with the Packers, you know, and what I mean by that is some people think they're really, really good and that they can win a Super Bowl, but then there's also a side of people that feel that, man, this team's getting lucky, this team's overrated, and I'm just not a believer in the Packers. So I'm going to give you guys my perspective on the Packers. Do I think they're overrated, underrated, Super Bowl contenders? Let's talk about it, okay? Before I make an official evaluation, let's talk about the good of the Packers. You know, what do they do well? Well, obviously, you got to start with Aaron Rodgers. That guy is amazing. Aaron Rodgers, to me, is one of the top 3 quarterbacks in all football still today. He still has a chance to win MVP. He's a top 3 MVP candidate right now. He's balling out this year. Clearly, him and Matt LaFleur are clicking. You know, at times, you know, there's been some struggles. But again, Aaron Rodgers is putting together a really good season. You know that Aaron Rodgers is arguably the most talented quarterback in all of football. Anytime you got that guy in your team, you're going to have a chance to win. So Aaron Rodgers, elite quarterback. You know, to compliment Aaron Rodgers, you got Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams. The Green Bay Packers now finally have 2 really, really good running backs that can catch passes out of the backfield and run in between the tackles and provide a spark in the running game. Aaron Rodgers does not have to do everything all the time on offense. The key word was all the time, because Aaron Rodgers, he's still very valuable to this team. But again, the pressure's not on him to always go out and score a bunch of points. You know, we saw versus Dallas. He did not need to do a whole lot in that game because Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams did their thing running the football. Especially Aaron Jones, as he had, you know, over 100 yards, and I believe over 3 touchdowns in that game. So, great quarterback, great running game. The weapons they have. Davante Adams is a great wide receiver. Davante Adams, to me, is a top 10 wide receiver. It's always nice to have a really good wide receiver that you can depend on to, you know, catch balls maybe on 3rd and 10, 3rd and 9, to get open versus man coverage, and to say, hey, beat that Stephon Gilmore, beat Jalen Ramsey, beat Patrick Peterson. The Packers have that guy in Davante Adams. Davante Adams has developed himself into one of the best wide receivers in all of football. And they actually have found ways to win without Davante Adams. They found ways to score points and win games without him. They're 4-0 without Davante Adams, okay? And the other thing that I really like about the Packers is that they don't turn the football over. And they take the football away on defense. So what does that mean? They're not gonna give you the football away, but they'll take the football away and they'll give Aaron Rodgers and their offense extra opportunities to make plays and score points. So that's really what I like about this defense. The Green Bay Packers finally in the offseason went out and spent some money on Preston Smith, Darius Smith, Adrian Amos. They drafted Darnell Savage. They invested in their defense. They've been investing in the defense for the last 3 years, and it's finally paying off. It's not an elite defense, but it's better than the Green Bay defenses of old, okay? It's at least comparable. It can get stops. It can get after the Green Bay defense, can get after the quarterback and create turnovers and big plays. The Green Bay Packers defense will give up some yards, but they won't completely bend. They're a bend but don't break defense. They'll give up some big plays every now and then, but they're really good in the red zone of holding teams to field goals and creating turnovers and getting their offense back on the field and getting sacks. So there's some things to like there. The flip side of that, however, I'm not going to say they're completely a finesse football team, but they're kind of close. And what I mean by that is that they're not physical. They're really not. You can push the Green Bay Packers around at times. We've seen it be done. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Los Angeles Chargers, in their 2 losses, the Green Bay Packers are 7-2 on the season right now. I do believe they will beat the Carolina Panthers. That's going to be a big test for the Packers coming up, you know, versus the team. The Carolina Panthers are a really good defensive team. They have a really good front 7 and a really good running game. I'll get to the run defense in a minute, but that's what the Packers have struggled with. They've struggled with teams that can run the football really, really well, and teams that can get after Aaron Rodgers and rush the passer, okay? Those are the teams they struggled against. So this game versus the Carolina Panthers, I think it's a big test for the Packers. I want to see them improve in those areas. But getting back to my point, in their 2 losses on the season, and they've been good all season. They've had some good solid wins, but the 2 losses they've had, when they played the Chargers and the Eagles, the Chargers and Eagles outmanned the Packers. And what I mean by that is they pushed them around. They dominated the line of scrimmage on the offensive side of the football and the defensive side of the football. They got after Aaron Rodgers. They rushed the passer. They got multiple sacks and hit Aaron Rodgers multiple times. The Chargers especially. The Eagles, they to some degree did, but again, their secondary is trash. So Aaron Rodgers, he tore them apart, but again, did throw the game losing interception at the goal line. That wasn't great, but either way, the point I'm trying to make is the Packers can be pushed around. Their run defense is not very good. The offensive line struggles when they have to face a team that can get physical with them up front. And in the playoffs, teams that usually win play smash mouth football really well. Okay? Look at the teams in the past. The Seattle Seahawks with the Legion of Boom. The San Francisco 49ers when they had Colin Kaepernick and Patrick Willis. The New England Patriots, okay? The Los Angeles Rams last year. The New Orleans Saints. The San Francisco 49ers this year. Teams that are really, really good Super Bowl contenders year in and year out are physical football teams up front. And at times, the Packers lack that physicality. And the offensive line looks shaky versus the Bears. It looks shaky versus the Kansas City Chiefs, who have a decent pass rush, but again, not anything to be too scared of. It looks shaky versus the Chargers. It looks shaky versus the Eagles. And the run defense is really, really suspect. They're 24th in the league right now. So my thing is, one thing I know about Seattle, New Orleans, the 49ers, the Rams, the Panthers, the Vikings, if they see the Packers in the playoffs, they're going to test out that run defense. They're going to pound the rock on the Packers. And the best way to stop Aaron Rodgers, because let's be real, it's hard to stop Aaron Rodgers. You can try all you want, but 9 times out of 10, Aaron Rodgers is going to get his. He's going to get his and do his things. He's going to boogie and dance on you, okay? That's fact. Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks of all time, okay? And probably the most talented quarterback of all time, okay? The best way to neutralize Aaron Rodgers is to keep him off the field, to control the line of scrimmage, to control the time of possession, to control the clock. If the Packers can't stop the run, then that means they can't get off the field, and that means that teams can run the clock out on them and keep Aaron Rodgers off the field. So that's my issues with the Packers. They don't have very many flaws. I think they're well coached. I think that Matt LaFleur comes in with a good game plan. That's another thing. Matt LaFleur is a young head coach, and I think he's a really good young head coach. Okay, between all the new head coaches in the offseason, I believe there were 8 head coaches hired in the offseason. Matt LaFleur by far is the most successful out of all those coaches. I do think that Matt LaFleur down the road can be a great head coach. He's a really good head coach right now. He's not great quite yet. He's only been in the league 1 year. But at times I see Matt LaFleur comes in with a game plan that's really good, but when it doesn't work, he has a hard time adjusting. He didn't adjust particularly well versus the Chargers. And the Chargers are not a great football team. And the Chargers, who just fired their offensive coordinator, were able to push the Packers around. So my final verdict with the Packers is they're still Super Bowl contenders in my opinion. As much as I don't like their run defense, as much as I hate the fact that they give up yards at times on defense, as much as I didn't like the way they lost to the Chargers and the Eagles, I feel like that when the Packers bring their A game, they're the best team in football. And I really do mean that. I think that when Aaron Rodgers is clicking on all cylinders, when this defense is getting the turnovers, when they're starting fast, that's the one thing about the Packers. If they start fast, then you can pretty much bury the game, because then they can send Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith and get after you. So if Aaron Rodgers starts the game out fast, I like the Packers' chances, but that's the only concern. Can they start fast consistently versus a New Orleans, versus a San Francisco, versus, some of these other teams, okay? Because the road to the Super Bowl might probably go through New Orleans. It might still go through San Francisco. Now, again, as far as the Packers' schedule goes, they still have a shot at a first-round bye, in my opinion, okay? They have a shot. They have an outside shot at the number 1 seed. I believe with the Packers' remaining schedule, I'll put it on the screen, at Panthers, bye week, at 49ers, at Giants, Redskins at home, Bears at home, at Vikings, at Lions. In my humble opinion, the Packers are going to only lose one of those remaining games. I'm going to go on the limb, and I'm going to say that the only game they'll lose is at Minnesota, because Minnesota at times is giving Aaron Rodgers troubles. But again, I think the Packers are a better team than the 49ers. I think the 49ers are a year away. Jimmy G did not impress me versus the Redskins. This team did not impress me versus the Cardinals. Jimmy G and this team did not impress me versus the Steelers. There's been some games where they've looked really good, like the Panthers game, where they had everything clicking on all cylinders and they had annihilated Kyle Allen. They looked really good at times. But I feel like that San Francisco's a year away. They remind me of the Los Angeles Rams the year before they won the Super Bowl. You know, with Todd Gurley, the great running back, Tevin Coleman, the great running back, great offensive line, Kyle Shanahan, the new genius at head coach, you know, Sean McVay, the new genius at head coach last year for the Rams, you know, Jimmy G on the uprise, Jared Goff was on the uprise. But when they run into Aaron Rodgers, when he's on, he's going to beat them come playoff time. I believe Russell Wilson can beat the 49ers come playoff time. I believe the Saints can beat them come playoff time. And the key thing you have to take into account when the Packers lost to the Eagles and the Chargers is those were desperate teams. The Chargers were fighting for their playoff lives. In Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers said it in the meeting. It was a slice of humble pie. We didn't show up to the game. The Eagles, if the Eagles lost that game versus the Packers, their season might have been over. They would have fallen to 1-3 on the year. So I just feel like the Packers, they caught teams at the wrong time, because I feel like the Packers, if they were focused all 9 weeks of the season, they'd be 9-0 right now. I think this team is that good. And I see that when Aaron Rodgers is clicking on all cylinders, he can beat anyone. He can beat Drew Brees. To me, Aaron Rodgers is better than Drew Brees. He's better than Russell Wilson. He's better than Jimmy G. He's better than Jared Goff. When Aaron Rodgers is clicking on all cylinders, this team is really, really good. And they can beat anyone. They can beat the Patriots. They can beat anyone when Aaron Rodgers is at his best. Because when I see Aaron Rodgers at his best, that's the best quarterback in history. And again, is he the GOAT? No. But as far as a quarterback that's played the position at its highest level of all time, Aaron Rodgers is number one. When a quarterback is on their A game, I'm talking Tom Brady, I'm talking Peyton Manning, Joe Montana. If you had to draft quarterbacks based on how good they are when they're on their game, Aaron Rodgers goes number one, baby. Aaron Rodgers is that guy. He's that dude. That's the best quarterback as far as talent goes I've ever seen. And now that he has a running game with Aaron Jones, now that he has a solid defense that can get after the passer and create turnovers, they've already been 4-0 without Davante Adams. Once Davante Adams gets reinstated back into this team, they can win a Super Bowl. I do believe the Packers are a top 5 team, and they can win a Super Bowl. They have some questions, they have some limitations on defense, but I do believe that this team, come playoff time, they're going to figure it out. And if Green Bay gets home field advantage throughout the playoffs, they're going to win the Super Bowl, potentially. They really can. If they get home field advantage throughout the playoffs, I think they go to the Super Bowl. And I think that Aaron Rodgers and this team is designed to beat the Drew Brees-led Saints. I really do firmly believe that. Because Aaron Rodgers and this team, they can match up with the Saints defense. The Packers can get after Drew Brees. Now, Alvin Kamara is a different story. But again, I feel like that, look, even if you don't think the Packers are the best team in football, or if you don't think they can win the NFC, they are at least contenders. They're not an overrated team. I do think the Chargers' loss was just them catching the team on the wrong day when they were on their A game and the Packers were off their A game. The Eagles being desperate. But I do firmly believe that coming off a bye, the Packers will beat the 49ers. That'll be a statement game by them. I think they come out and make a statement versus the Panthers. I think they beat the Giants. I think they beat the Redskins. I think they beat the Bears once again. I mean, have you seen Mr. Trubisky this year? I mean, he's god-awful. I think they probably lose to the Vikings because the Vikings are a real team and it's on the road. I think they close out the season at Detroit. So I think the Packers finish the season 13-3. And between the 49ers, the Saints, and the Packers, we shall see who the final team is as far as getting that 1 seed or a top 2 seed in the NFC. But bottom line, the Packers are not overrated. They'll hit the reset button this week. They'll beat the Panthers. They'll get on a roll. Do not take too much stock in that loss to the Chargers. The Packers are not overrated, and they are a Super Bowl contender, and I would not be shocked if Aaron Rodgers wins the second Super Bowl this year. Be sure to comment where you agree with me and disagree with me. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video today. Be sure to smash this like button right now if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel if you're new as well. I do post a ton of great sports videos weekly and almost every single day if I can. A fun fact about me is I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world. I want to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. Kind of like Colin Cowherd, Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp. You get the point. Okay, I want to do sports, television, and radio for a full living once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. So the best thing you guys can do to just help me continue to grow as a young broadcaster is to just share this channel with all your friends, because potentially if this channel really gets somewhere, I want to start my own network, okay? Or potentially if it doesn't, or if I fall a little bit short, I want to go into a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. So the best thing you guys can do to just flat out just help me grow as a broadcaster, help me learn, get other people hip to this channel, just share this channel with all your friends, share this channel on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram, all that good stuff. Also, be sure to follow me on all my social media platforms. And once again, guys, just share this channel with everyone you know. Get everyone hipped and watching these videos. Get my voice out there and heard. Share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram, all that good stuff. It's been your boy, Ghiman Mckinney, or you can just call me Juice. I appreciate all you guys for tuning in today. I really do. Have a God bless day. Stay motivated, you guys, and I'm out.